Hey everybody, it is me coming to you live from my home here in Utah, and I am really excited about the next couple of videos that I'm going to do. I did some comments on a Facebook group that I'm a part of, and I made some comments about a zero-based budget and financial binders, and it kind of just like spurred on a lot of questions and wondering, details of what they are and how I run them and things like that. So ultimately, I kind of felt that it was easier to do a video on each of those rather than trying to continue to add to comments and stuff like that. Hopefully, I'm able to clear up a bunch of questions and get these posted really quickly. I'm not going to edit them or anything. I'm just going to do them basically live and then get them uploaded to YouTube and then post them on Facebook so everybody can see them. So no editing, you've got me live. So hopefully they go really smoothly. I'm only going to record them once. So basically I'm going to start the first video on financial binders. Financial binders was something I learned, I think it was my first semester in college. I took a finance class from the USU Extension for a credit in college, and it was probably one of the best financial classes that I took. I'm one of those crazy people that actually really likes finances and likes to get that information. I really like doing my budgets and balancing my checkbook and stuff like that every month. In fact, I do it every week because I'm crazy that way. But I really enjoy that aspect. Some people tease me that I missed my calling in life and I should be a financial advisor or a financial guru, and because I really enjoy that aspect of it. But I took this class from the USU Extension agent. Her name was Adri Roberts, and she had put together this program, and part of that program was basically organizing your financial paperwork or financial binders. And the information is actually online. You can Google her, Adri Roberts, and financial binders or organizing your paperwork, and basically the program actually comes up. I did it before I started the video so I can make sure that I am giving you all the right information, because like I said, I did the class many years ago. But it is an excellent program. I highly recommend you look that up and go and read through it, because basically it tells you what you need to have on hand on a regular basis and where to put it and stuff like that. So really great information. But ultimately, there's twofold reason why you would want to have a financial binder. And the first is an experience that I personally had with my financial binder. And that is, what if you ever have to evacuate your home? And what kind of information are you going to need to grab on the fly, last minute? You don't have any time. You just have time to grab one thing from your home and get out. And you need to have all that information in one location. I personally had this experience. I was on contract assignment down in San Marcos, California, and they were having wildfire evacuations, and I got evacuated. I was actually living at a hotel at the time. I didn't have a car. I had just flown down there. The hotel was within walking distance of my assignment, and so it was just one of those really fluky situations. By the time that I had secured a rental car to evacuate, I basically had time to pick up one thing, and that was my financial binder and a suitcase, basically, and walk out the door to get my rental car, because the fire was coming, and it was coming really quickly. I was blessed that it didn't burn down the hotel, and I was able to go back and get my stuff. But however, if it had, I did have all the financial documentation that I would have needed to basically start over again. In my financial binder, I have all my insurance policies, my social security card, my birth certificate. All of that information is in that financial binder, and I would have essentially been able to start all over again if I needed to. Now imagine that was in your home, and your financial binder was in your home, and you had to pick that up and walk out, and your home burned down. What information do you need in that financial binder to make sure that you can start over again? And that is essentially what you want in that financial binder. All that documentation that you either would take a long time to replace, or you would need to rebuild or start over again. And that's what we're talking about. The second half of that is, what if something happened to you or a family member? And what information do you need in that financial binder? for whoever is going to basically fill your shoes or settle your estate. What information are they going to need to make sure that everything is carried on? If something were to happen to you. Like for me, my power of attorney is the person that would take over for me and settle my estate, pay my bills. They would need to know, all of my account information, where my life insurance policies are, who to contact for my life insurance policies, and all of that information. And all of that information she knows is in my financial binder, and is in my safe and things like that. So ultimately, that's kind of where we set things up and why you want to have that financial binder. And have everything in place. I also have a copy of my will in there, have a copy of my my power of attorney in there, my medical power of attorney, my living will, all of that information, all of that really, really important information that you need to have in place to make sure everything is ready and everything is handled the way you want things handled if something were to happen. Sadly, death's inevitable. It's going to happen. Just because you're prepared for it doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. But making sure things are in place. If you have kids, you want to make sure that everything is in place to make sure your kids are taken care of. And making sure that the documentation and where to find that documentation is in place and who's going to take care of your kids and they know where to get that, and making sure the financial resources are in place to take care of your kids if something were to, heaven forbid, happen to you, is in place, and making sure that documentation is in place. All of that stuff needs to go into that financial binder. So very, very important things. So this is kind of the outline that Adria Roberts put for her financial binder. Because I have a business, have added things for my business. You need to make sure that your financial binder works for you, so you can add things to this list to make sure that works for you. But this is what she suggests that you put in it. A personal directory, and on that personal directory is basically your immediate family. I just stick my Christmas card list in there. I don't send out 1 million Christmas cards. I send out about 50. So I just stick my Christmas card in there. Specifically with your immediate family, you want to have, who they are, your sisters, your mom, your dad, if you've got kids, list who they are, stuff like that. And she's got a really great example of that in there. Your professional directory, where you work, who's your boss, your HR contact, anything like that at your where you work. I also have a business directory in mine, so they know who to contact for my businesses and stuff like that. Also on your professional directory, who's your lawyer, who's your accountant, any of those professional type people that you use on a regular basis, you're going to want to know that stuff. I also did a medical directory. My ex-husband was disabled, and so the medical directory on that professional directory was really, really important to us if something happened to him, and you needed the medical directory on that. So ours also has a medical, might be smart for your home. Financial information, I have all of my account information. If you lose your wallet, who do you need to call to cancel all your credit cards, all your credit card numbers, all of that stuff? I have that in there. So that it's easy accessible, so I can call if I were to lose my wallet and take care of all of that business before something goes drastically wrong. To make sure that we're all taken care of in that way. Also on the financial information, if somebody has to come in and pay your bills for a while, say you're in a car accident in the hospital or something like that, someone has to come in and pay your bills for a while. Where do they need to go? What needs to be paid? What needs to be taken care of? That kind of stuff is listed in there. Your goals list. I take care of my goals at the beginning of, the last week of every year between Christmas and New Year's. I set my financial goals for the following year. I have monthly goals. I have 6 months goals, year goals, and then a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan. And all of that is in my financial binder. A personal property list, again, going back to the fire scenario, you're going to want a personal property list of what is in your home, because when the insurance company has to replace what was in your home based on what your insurance policy says, you're going to want to have a list of everything. And then I also have pictures. I went around my home and I took pictures so that I have documentation. I had that item in my home, and this is what it looked like. Your TV, your couches. I have a gorgeous piano that I want replaced if something happens to it. If you have fine jewelry that is expensive, your appraisals on that jewelry needs to go in there so you get your exact jewelry whether it, so you get that stuff back. If you get robbed and your jewelry is covered on your homeowner's insurance, you want that in there, and you want pictures of it as well. Make sure that that's taken care of, so you have a property list in there. Net worth statement, make sure that you take care of that. I know that it's a tedious process. Once you do it once, updating it is not a hard thing. It is a tedious process initially, but make sure you do that. Know exactly where you stand on your net worth. It's actually kind of eye-opening the first couple of times you do it, but it's really kind of cool as you see your net worth build as you get out of debt and you kind of change your net worth ultimately. Your budget, I always put my budget in there, your special expenses, and I'll talk about budget and special expenses in the next video. Your loan papers, make sure you keep all your loan papers so you know your interest rates, your length of the loan, stuff like that. Also, if once it's paid off, if for some reason that doesn't get recorded properly or anything like that, you want those loan papers so that you can clear that out properly. So make sure you keep those. Your income tax statements, you need to keep your income tax documentations for 7 years. So make sure you have a place for those. Your financial binder is a great place for that. Any lease or rental agreements, you're going to want to keep that, whether those are you personally for like an apartment or something like that, or you own rental properties that you're keeping those. You make sure that you have proper documentation and you're keeping those. Financial binders are a great place for that. Make sure you have all your insurance policies, whether that be your homeowners, your car, your health insurance, your life insurance, all of that kind of stuff you're going to want to keep, and make sure you have copies of those. Your retirement, your Social Security, your pension statements, all that kind of stuff you're going to want to keep in one location. Your financial binder is a great place. Birth certificates, immunization cards, Social Security card, all that kind of stuff. That stuff takes time to replace, and it's kind of a pain to replace it. So if a fire were to happen and it gets burned in the fire, it'll take time, and that's again another thing. If it's in your financial binder or you grab that and you're out, that's another item that is really, really great to have. Also, another thing, I hire people all the time and they'll say, and I'll tell them, you need your documentation to do your I-9, and a lot of times they'll say, oh, I don't know where that is, I'm going to have to look for it. If it's all in your financial binder, you know where it is, you never have to question it, it's all there, your passport, stuff like that, it's all there. You never have to question. You go, you use it, do what you need to do, and then you put it right back. So that's another great thing to keep in there. Always get a yearly credit report. So you're watching your credit, make sure you know where it's at. Make sure that things are getting off your credit report when they're supposed to get off. But keep an updated credit report in your financial binder so you know where everything is at on your credit report. So those are some of the things that she recommends you keeping your financial binder. Obviously, you need to adjust it to whatever your situation is. But that is the background information on a financial binder. Stay tuned for the next video on budgets and special expenses. If you like this video, obviously like it down below, and if you have any questions, comment below. Have a wonderful night. Thanks, guys.